13%, incidentally, of Manchester United fans think that they will finish in the top 4.
13%.
13%.
Okay.
Have we got 1% here?
Of course we have. I can't disappoint you. Honestly. I've got to come back here in 10 months and try and defend this.
I genuinely didn't know your answer to that.
So Dave, we worked out before that I've done this now for 8 years and I've always had Manchester United in the top 4 every year. And just, it's a late change, but I think with a bit of science.
Go on, what's the science?
Well, last season I remember watching Chelsea on the first game of the season, and at that point no one had Chelsea, I think, finishing in the top 4 or 5. And I watched them against City and thought I saw something. I thought, that's not bad, that will do damage this season, that's a good team. And when I watched United yesterday, I thought the performance was very good. And I think they'll get a goalkeeper. I absolutely am banking they'll not make the mistake of not getting a goalkeeper. And when they bring a goalkeeper in, and you've got those players up front that they had yesterday with that back line, I think with the 3 weeks that they've got and no Champions League football, no Europa League, I think Manchester United will surprise a few people. Last week I had them 6th to 8th, but I have changed my mind over this week. I thought that performance yesterday was a really good performance. I genuinely liked it. They were high energy. We saw some stats before. It's the first time they've kept a higher possession, or the first time they've kept 60% possession against the top 3 team for 10 years. I think they won 70% of the duels yesterday, first time they've done that for 9 years. 22 shots on target, they haven't done that for about 11 years against the top 3. That was a dominant performance against the top 3 team. When United have beat top 3 teams in the last 5, 6, 7 years, it's always been smash and grab, sitting back, counter-attack, pinch a goal. That yesterday, they lost, but I value performance. I really value performance. If you perform like that, you'll win a lot of football matches. So for me, yeah, maybe it's a little bit of bias because of who I support, but I thought I saw something yesterday similar to what I saw last season with Chelsea when they lost to City. I thought Chelsea will be a good side this season, and I'm not sure Chelsea are going to find it as easy with the World Club Championships, the European games, all the demands of that. I think United will just sneak in with Liverpool and City.
When you hear those compelling arguments, are you thinking, I wish I had Man United instead of Chelsea in my top 4?
No. No. I think you've got to be very careful of getting carried away about one performance. And don't forget, they didn't win the game, they lost. And at no stage in the game did I think Manchester United were going to score a goal yesterday. I get what Gary's saying, and I did think they played really well. Best I've seen them for a long time. There was pace, there was energy in the team. I think the front players they brought have got something, no doubt. But no, even though they had a lot of shots, and we just seen David Raya make lots of saves, I didn't feel at any stage Man United were going to score a goal. And I just think that's a big jump from, what was it, 15th last season to 4th. I don't see that. And also, if I'm being honest, the manager's still got a lot to prove, really. And I think there's a lot of managers in this league who've done a lot more than he has in his. I think he's had about 40 games now for Man United. You think of Eddie Howe, think of Unai Emery. These are top managers, and yeah, I don't see Manchester United that high now.
Interestingly, Manchester United, do you have them as 7th, as high as that?
I mean, I'm forgetting now. So, how far down does Europa League go? It goes to probably 7th or 8th. I mean, well, there's nine teams, isn't there? I think 9 teams in Europe this season. I think a club of the stature of Man United, with no European football, the fact that they've brought big players in Cunha and Buemo on there, goalkeepers maybe going to come in. If Man United aren't challenging for Europe, that's not acceptable.
But you have Villa above them right now?
I just think Unai Emery's a better manager than what Manchester United have got. I think he's a top manager. He's come in and every season he's been there or thereabouts in terms of European football. So, yeah.
Right, who's going down with who's going to win the league? This is the easiest one, I think, isn't it, guys? Champions. Jamie's gone Liverpool. Gary's gone Arsenal. Why Arsenal, Gary?
I couldn't separate Arsenal, City or Liverpool. I think they're absolutely all in with equal chance of winning it. So I've got no certainty at all that Arsenal are going to win it, but they've been consistent over the last 3 years. They've been second. I do feel they'll get there at some point. Liverpool, watching them Friday night, I saw Carragher's point. The 2 fullbacks have got to settle in. They look a little bit open. They're going to be exhilarating to watch. They're going to score a lot of goals. City look like with Reinders, and if Rodri can come back and if they can keep Stones and Diaz fit with Haaland up front, they've got an unbelievable spine. So honestly, I couldn't separate them, so I just went for the team that I've been going for the last 3 years, feeling that they're very reliable.
Happen at some
no,
stage.
they're reliable and solid, and they're consistent, which I think is important.
Can you win a title being reliable and solid?
Well, they're consistently getting sort of
Second.
high points totals and finishing second to great teams, Liverpool and City. So I think that for me, they've improved themselves. Gyökeres, I wasn't actually negative about Gyökeres at all yesterday. I saw some things in that game. I thought that De Ligt did well against him, so I thought De Ligt had a fantastic match. But there were moments where he was a bit uncomfortable with him, he was wrestling with him, and I think he'll do well for Arsenal. So Zubimendi didn't have his best game yesterday, but again, I think he'll slot in well. Declan Rice couldn't have been any worse yesterday. I think Arsenal have got the right material. They just have to sort that forward bit of the pitch out, and I think Gyökeres will.
Jamie, are you more or less confident on Liverpool given what you've seen on this opening weekend?
Less confident. It's not just the opening weekend, it was the Community Shield. It was a pre-season game against AC Milan. When I saw them things that I saw in the Community Shield, which is still a semi-friendly, if you like, I didn't think I'd see it on Friday night. That's what worried me a little bit, that I'm sure the manager's been speaking to the players in pre-season on the back of the Milan game, you know, the Community Shield, and to see it sort of, not 3 games running, but the 3 high-profile games, if you like, up until this stage, that did worry me a little bit. But I think if Liverpool fix that, they have got great firepower. There's no doubt about that.
You're not certain about them, though, are you?
I just said that right at the start of the answer.
No, I wasn't. Don't go on the defensive.
I'm not getting on the defensive. You just listen to what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying to you?
No, I've said that. Sure. I said a few days ago that I thought Arsenal would be Liverpool's biggest challengers, and I know it's only one game. Watching Arsenal the weekend, and listen, I thought it was a great result for Arsenal. But just the way they played was almost typical sort of Arsenal of last season. You know, win with a set piece, which is fine. The name of the game is winning games, but it'll really be interesting over the next few weeks if we see them sort of open up a little bit more, create more chances, and see how maybe they've evolved from last season. But I was really impressed with Manchester City, and I actually think it might be Manchester City who are Liverpool's closest challengers.
OK, well, Liverpool fans are probably a little bit more confident than you are, Jamie, I think. Because Sky Sports has partnered with Fanalysis, an app where verified true fans, known as Fanlists, share their opinions on their club. Guess what percentage of Liverpool fans think they are going to win the league?
92%.
Oh, that's pretty close.
What is it?
That's low.
They're feeling pessimistic, it's 95.
Is it?
95% of Liverpool fans.
But if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be thinking, because to be fair, I can't separate the top 3, and if I was Liverpool and they're going to get Isak, it looks like, then I'd be absolutely, you know, who are the 5% that are saying they won't win the league?
Me.
You've both gone City second. You both sort of see them as danger lurking, if you like. We're going to move on to 5th and 6th for both of you. Both have got Newcastle involved in that top 6. Newcastle's interesting, isn't it? Because you feel like the story's not finished yet for this summer. And then we'll be clear about what they're going to look like.
Yeah, that's why I've probably Newcastle and Villa, who I really liked last season. I just feel they might not be. The PSR's killing them a little bit in terms of being able to invest freely. And I feel like they might just be, I think they'll have a good season. I think that they'll do okay, but I just don't think they'll have that spark to get into 5th and into the Champions League and into 4th space. So, I didn't have Spurs, to be fair, in there like Carragher has. I've gone Chelsea and Newcastle. I think United are the one team that can break into that group more than Newcastle, more than Spurs, more than Villa, because they haven't got the European football. I do think it'll be a big advantage to United, and I think that's why they'll break into that group.
Is 6th too much to ask for Spurs, given the Champions League involvement as well?
Maybe, but I do think when you look at Spurs and Man United last season, I actually think Spurs have got some good players. I do believe that. When you look at sort of, you know, the 2 centre-backs, you know, Romero signed a new contract today, hasn't he? Kudus has come in as a good player. I think they will be active as well in this transfer market in the last couple of weeks. Thinking about Aston Villa, to be honest, that was the decision. Newcastle, Spurs, Aston Villa, where would I find those 3 teams? And I've just gone for Spurs because looking at Villa at the weekend, it just feels, well, it's the same team. They haven't really bought anyone, have they? You know, except maybe the backup striker, the top end of the pitch, and I'm not sure they're going to get too much more in because of the PSR situation. But I do think Spurs will probably get another couple of players in, so I just went for them. And one of the reasons you talk about European football, I think because now, and this is one of the reasons as why, I think Aston Villa are in the Europa League, aren't they? I think they'll go far in that. So I think that their European campaign will really kick on in the second half of the season. I'm not sure Newcastle and Spurs will. in terms of the Champions League. You don't drop into the Europa League no more. If you don't make the cut, you're basically out, aren't you? So I'm not sure Newcastle and Spurs will have too much European football after Christmas.
Yeah, I think that's a significant point you made on Romero as well, that he's now been made captain. Everyone thought he was leaving, and a big new contract for him. When we talked about surprise European contender, the sort of challenge we set the guys was think about Nottingham Forest last season and how they had an impact on things, and we can see what they think Forest of last season might look like this season with our surprise European contender. And Gary, you think it looks like
United? The insults just continue to rain.
Or you could just read that as actually he's got you 7, which is not a million miles away from things, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it was 7th, I'd have put Villa. So it wasn't. I didn't read surprise European contender as being a team that obviously, should finish in Europe, which obviously I think United.
I think
Villa.
you're right.
You didn't surprise European contender. Who was the surprise European contender last season?
Well, would it not be a big surprise this season for Forest to be there again, given that they are involved in Europe
I
as
think
well?
For Forest to repeat what they did last year would be a massive. It would be a massive result for them. I think that was a massive overreach and overperformance last year. They were punching well above their weight. So for me, for Forest to go in again would be a big